try to come here? I guess I can.
You can try, but if it is too uncomfy, I don't want you to be. I want you to be comfy, girl.
I'm getting up and I'm gonna move around. No, mother, don't do it. Excuse me. Excuse me, kitty.
Cheers, moving, Tato. You're moving.
I tried to warn you. Oh yeah, that's not gonna work. I'm going right back, baby. Oops. Excuse me. May I have a seat? Oh, thank you, dear. She's the cutest.
Hi, everybody. Good morning.
How much of that did you hear?
Good morning, every bit of it.
Yeah,
I went live and thought, oh, this will be cute. But...
I think the mic is too close to me. What do you think?
Is it?
It's much closer to my face than it is to your face.
Oh, I'm just a loud bastard, so
Oh,
yeah, I
okay.
figured this would be fine. But hello, everybody.
Well then, but that's a problem because then you can't make me laugh because I have a louder laugh than you do.
We're fine, we're
I
fine.
apologize in advance for your eardrums, folks. By the way,
Everything's good.
hi, I'm here too.
It's the beautiful lady. And today I ended last night's stream with the full intention of just playing some more Final Fantasy II today, playing some more of it tomorrow. Because I was like, we're getting through it. I'm liking it. It's good. I like me some Final Fantasy. And after the stream ended, I was looking around on different articles on Twitter and stuff like that, and people were posting about the Ennies Awards at Gen Con this year. I've missed my whole convention schedule. But
For those who were brought here as someone's +1, what's an Ennie?
An Ennie is an award given specifically for tabletop RPGs.
Is it
I think they've been doing it
N-E, like
ENNIES.
Okay.
Ennies or Ennies.
Is
or...
it named for something?
I mean, all awards are named for something. The Academy Awards, the Oscars for
Well,
Little
the
Man.
Academy Awards are
named
because
Oscar.
the Academy gives the award.
The
I
Grammys
think.
because that's a sound they chose. Yeah, so Ennies, I guess, for Bennies or any good.
It's okay. You don't know.
I don't know.
Maybe no one knows. Maybe it was made up. Maybe
Could
it's
be.
all fake.
But a lot of tabletop games made the top of a lot of lists. And the game we looked at earlier this week, Fabula Ultima, got, I think, gold for best game and silver for best product of the year.
Oh, yes,
I believe it got those. So I was super excited, and I figured, because a lot of people are at Gen Con, a lot of news is coming out of Gen Con for like new games and stuff like that, like the new game published by Darrington Press, Daggerheart. A lot of people are like posting the character sheets they got to take home, being like, look, this is what it is. And so there's a lot of cool news coming out of it. So I figured on the heels of Gen Con, which I think is still happening today.
Yep.
I think it's still happening today. I figure, nobody at Gen Con is going to be watching this. But I figured a lot of people will probably be coming back from Gen Con with news about Fabula Ultima in their brain, and I thought, let's make some characters utilizing character sheets that we got. And I figured we could do this. I figured we could do it in Foundry, because we've got some character sheets that we can use. But I've also half a mind to just do it straight out of the PDF, so that people can see what the character sheet actually looks like. What do you think?
Out of the PDF sounds the best to me, because that's like, I only need one thing for this, as opposed to, well, I'm not going to do Foundry, so this doesn't apply to me.
Yeah, because you definitely watched the stream last time too, right? So you know exactly what we're talking about.
Look at you calling me out. You know damn well that I sat right there in that chair and listened to you make the mouth sounds for 2 hours. And looked at my phone only to type a comment.
Man, that's about right. Okay then, let me do this then. Let's get this out here and ready.
By the way, that octopus is super cute. Or squid, I guess. That encephalopod is adorable. Oh yes?
Yeah,
Hello, dear.
just nice and cozy. and chillaxing all cool today. Just relaxing, taking it easy.
I'm making some character sheets.
We also have a special guest who you may not hear, but you'll definitely hear me talk to.
Tato.
And that's our Tato.
Tato.
Can you give me a meow, Tato?
I know both mom and dad are. Don't pick on my guys. I don't like it. Both mom and dad are on the mic today, so she's like, no one's paying attention to me.
Mm-hmm.
Mom and dad are talking to their friends again.
She's been in the entertainment system, like, reaching at my back, like, trying to be like, come pay attention to me. And so I was like, all right, come around this way. But then she immediately wanted to get on the desk, and obviously that can't happen.
Yes.
Oh, who's that
Mm,
kid
like-
in class? It's you.
I've got.
It's you.
Let's see here. Here we are. Perfect. I've got
Ah,
me
yes, flatulent underpants.
my what?
You said you were only going to remember it as FU, so I made myself a goal to call the game something different with an F and a U every time I reference it this stream.
Oh, bless you. That's what the designer wanted.
Well, that was a whole
They only
thing
just
you
want
said
awards.
at the end of the last stream.
I know, that's very true. That's the only complaint I have about this game is that the name does nothing to sell itself. Absolutely nothing. Or like what the game is about or anything. But man, when that's all I've got to really complain about, it's not bad.
Get down, dude. Not your water. Not your water. Excuse me, internet. Yes, I know. You can't be up on the table, even when we're both on the internet. This is your water.
That's
There we go. Yes.
potatoes.
For folks at home, I went off mic because our cat was on the table, and so I picked her up, took her away from my water that she had her whole head in, and to her water
Yeah, you
that
might
she
wanna-
has in a fancy fountain.
Might want to move for your water over here on the desk, but okay. So for today, I figured, beautiful lady, I got this here for you
Oh, okay.
so that you can look at it. It's just the PDF, the core rulebook.
Mm-hmm.
I've got the core rulebook to copy and paste like skills and stuff into.
Okay.
But generally, for those at home, and for myself as well, this is the character sheet for Fabula Ultima. It's a couple of pages. I think it's like 3 pages. And really, it's just got everything else you need in it for things like spells or classes or things like that. Got everything you need. Tons of space. I like it a great deal. Fabula Ultima is a self-described TTJRPG, trying to simulate games like Octopath Traveler, Final Fantasy, Dragon Quest, Chrono Trigger, a lot of games like that, where everybody's got like, you know, HP, MP, start a fight, you know, heroes are on one side, enemies are on another. Oh, dangerous coffee. Coffee got real dangerous all of a sudden.
I'm gonna have to become a pirate.
Yeah, ding, ding.
Or I'm sorry,
Of course, there.
there we go.
Mm-hmm. For no other reason than we call it that. That'd be weird.
Well, I knew it was in here somewhere as like, oh, that's obviously a pirate, but then it wasn't labeled pirate, and I was scrolling.
A Yarmancer.
Oh no, it is labeled pirate.
It is labeled pirate. But Fabula Ultima is a TTJRPG. It's looking to emulate and simulate JRPGs at the tabletop. So battles are pretty straightforward. You do one thing on your turn, and that's kind of it. But then you're building the world around it. Usually like high fantasy or high natural fantasy, or even techno fantasy. If you're thinking like Final Fantasy VII at the beginning with Midgar, with the like upper plate and lower plate, things like that. But yeah, so I thought for today we just kind of go through these character sheets and just make different characters and try different builds that aren't just let's make up a JRPG character outright.
And try something else. Try something different.
So what character do you want to be? Are you leaning towards or away from anything? What are you feeling?
Well, the first one, I figured we make a couple today. And by the way, if anybody has any questions about the systems or anything like that, my credentials for this is I learned about this past weekend while I was on vacation. I got the PDF, I read as much of it as I could. I know how character creation works and how to run the game and things like that, but I haven't actually run a game of this yet. Sad day for me. I have seen people go through like the quick start adventure, which is actually kind of neat. I think that's a really cute thing. There's a lot of those up on YouTube, so if you really want to see how it's played, there's a good number of people that have already started doing actual play series of Fabula Ultima. It's kind of neat.
And if you want to see us build something in particular, comment into chat. Maybe we'll
let us know.
To make one of those too.
Mm-hmm. I figured we try to make a character that already exists in a JRPG series.
Okay.
I wanted to try to make a character that I have in D&D in Fabula Ultima, just to see, for folks at home, because D&D is really popular, to see how well it translates.
Any particular one that you've had in mind?
Yes, a tricky one.
Okay. Is it BB?
Could be. Keep getting ahead of me, spoiling it. Now no one's gonna wait 2 hours. They're just gonna be like, oh, of course.
I mean, the only people who know who BB is are the 5 people that were in our campaign.
Shut. You're spoiling nothing. The third, I wanted to try to make an interesting one, because it was just an interesting build, interesting character for an interesting setting, and that is Pinocchio, played by Lou Wilson in Dimension 20's Never After. Super different. And I want to try to see if we can make it work in Fabula Ultima.
Yeah, because he's basically a Warforged, right? Like, that's the skin on that? I don't really know.
Maybe? But in terms of just, like, class-wise. Because in Fabula Ultima, there's no, like, races or ancestry. You can just kind of be whatever you want. Whatever you are builds to the world it is. But I thought we would just start with your boy.
Oh, okay.
I thought we'd just start with your boy, Sora.
So I think that means we're going to start with Magic Technician?
Well, we'd actually, these are suggestions. So these are like quick build guides. If you're like, I don't know what to do, this game is confusing,
gotcha.
I want to be a pirate.
We don't have to pick any of these.
Yeah, it's literally just, you can pick from those. But generally, what we do is we all start at level 5. And then,
I do remember that. It goes from 5 to 20, and that's it.
No, 5 to 50.
Oh, 5 to 50, I'm sorry.
50, yeah.
And you level up like every time or every other
About
time
every
or
other
something
session,
like that.
damn near, yeah. Because you'll get, after every session, you'll get 5 experience, and you only need 10 to get more experience. And you get 1 experience for every Fabula point you spend to do anything, based on the number of players around the table. So, like, if you've got 4 players around the table, if 4 Fabula points are spent by anybody, everybody gets an extra experience point. So there is plenty of incentive to use those suckers up.
In Kingdom Hearts, that's using your tech points. You're either
I mean, here it's literally power of friendship, because you can use Fabula points to invoke bonds you have with other people. So you're like, I'm gonna invoke my bond with Donald because he just does nothing and sits in the back screaming at me. Or I'm gonna invoke my bond with Goofy, who keeps kill-stilling me every single chance he gets.
That's not a problem I had.
Every time. Every time I'm like, I got it. Goofy's like, boil! And it comes right on in.
Why are you concerned, though? If the thing died, aren't you happy?
Because I like to feel nice. And Goofy steals that from me. So, first things first, Fabula Ultima is a dice pool system with a roll at or over mechanic. So, whenever you make a check, it's going to be either dexterity, insight, might, or willpower with dexterity, insight, might, or willpower. And then you just have to meet or beat the difficulty level that the Game Master sets for you. And if you roll doubles over 6, it's a crit, and you get cool stuff. So right off the bat, everybody starts at a D8, and if you can increase a die to D10, it can't go higher than a D10, but if you do, you got to decrease another die. So it's real easy for me to want to keep Sora at D8s across the board, because he can kind of do everything, but that bores me.
Yeah, I feel like...
So if we build
let's
Sora...
be real, though.
Yeah.
On the cutscenes alone, we for sure have to cut his insight. His insight needs to be the lowest
yeah, it's a
dice
decent,
available.
for sure. Now that's gonna make him a little worse at magic and casting magic. Sad day for us.
Yeah, so that's fine though. It makes sense for his character.
Yeah, if we were going mechanics, it'd probably be like D12 at insight as fast as we could, because magic's broken in Kingdom Hearts. for him. He's swooshing around with keyblades, left, right, and dingly dangled center. So.
And he's continually like, I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't get it. Yeah, so he's a bit of a dummy.
Especially in the third one, they like leaned in too hard to that.
So I am, if Insight's a D6, I want to make either Might or Dexterity a D10. This boy can move.
Yeah.
Boy can punch gods in the face.
I feel like Might is if we choose the sword at the beginning. I feel like
this is
willpower is if we
that...
choose the shield at the beginning.
Fair, yeah. We definitely gave up the staff, that's for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Just because that's what aligns best with Insight, and Sora is not insightful.
Have we pissed off any Kingdom Hearts fans yet?
Look, he had Kyrie's heart in his heart for like 7 planets, and he didn't know. That's low insight.
I mean, that's why she doesn't do anything for the whole series. Her heart's been outside of her body for so long.
Just one game, only one.
Just one, yeah. She gets a Keyblade and then immediately gets. Yeah. So are we going Might or Dexterity or Willpower? Dexterity is going to help us. Might's going to give us more health. Willpower's going to give us more MP to cast spells.
Oh.
So even though they'll be a little weaker, we'll have more MP to use.
Well, I was definitely the player that would always have gone in on Dex if that was the case.
Well, no,
because I had that long whoop, like super long.
Dex is going to help us with...
willpower, you were saying.
Willpower,
Got it.
Dexterity is going to help us with defense, I believe.
Okay.
Defense is going to set our baseline defense die.
Yeah, no, I die a lot until I finally get Cure. So I feel like leaving the defense at a D8 is fine.
Is a D8, so we're going Might or Willpower?
I say we go Might, but
okay.
whatever you think we should do.
Sure. So just baseline, we've got HP is your Might times 5,
okay,
plus your level, plus any extras you get. So right at the beginning, we've got 55 health, because our current character level's 5. And we're going to try to make a character until they come online. We're really trying to see how fast a character concept can come online. So we'll start at 5 and then just go in like increments of 5 levels or so. Willpower, that's going to be 8 times 5, that's going to be 30, right? 35 total?
No, 35 is 5 times 7. It's going to be 40.
So it's going to be 40. Okay. Perfect. No, 8 times 5 is 40.
Yes.
Okay, so then it's going to be 45. There we go. Alright, and then
oh, right, because you're adding the level as well. I see.
And then inventory points we got is 6. Initiative modifier is going to be 0. It always starts at 0, though you can get stuff to make it better. Defense is going to be 8 baseline, and magic defense, I believe, is willpower. So that's also going to be a D8. I believe that's the case. Hold on, let me check here real quick. Insight. Insight is magic defense. So that's going to be a D6. Okay. Sora can't take a hit to save his life. Okay.
He'll be fine.
And let's definitely. He's got some bonds here. Kyrie. Riku. I'm not even sure exactly how many bonds a character is allowed to start with. I think it's probably just 1.
Oh.
But just for the sake of it. If we
can only pick 1, it would be Kyrie.
Okay, yeah, let's just start with 1, sure.
No,
and we'll go
sorry. I want to take that back, because I feel like it would actually, if there was only 1, it would probably be Riku.
Yeah,
that rivalry's real strong.
Oh, okay. So then, instead of affection, because we're making Kingdom Hearts 1 Sora, right? Beginning of his journey. Maybe we should make it inferiority.
Ooh, yeah, that drives a lot of their interactions. The need to prove himself.
Because the neat thing here is you can always change that bond. So then after a while, like you can have a bond with Riku that goes from inferiority, but you also have affection for him. But then that can become admiration or loyalty or things like that as you go on. So neat little thing. We'll just start with 1.
Okay.
So as far as classes go, I'm of the opinion we've got 5 to go with here. Our might is at a 10. Sora's got a weapon of magic in him.
Uh-huh.
I'd be really thoughtful of making him a dark blade, but that's more of like a Dark Knight kind of thing. I don't really want to go with that aesthetic.
I feel like that's more what Riku would be.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely he would be. But I think a good place to start Sora at would probably be a... let me pull this up here. I think it would probably be either a Fury or a... not a Tinkerer. Not that. I mean, Wayfarer is also good, but a Weapon Master.
Well, he is a Keyblade Master.
Yeah.
He is the one person, supposedly, at that point in the lore, who can
the only
wield this
Keyblade
thing.
wielder. There's only one, right?
Well, look, let's take it game by game.
It's all you have. It's a mythical weapon. Have we pissed off any Kingdom Hearts fans yet?
Look,
I'm going for like an over-under of
it's
like 20 minutes.
good. It just has the what is true changes depending on which game you're playing.
Yeah, Nomura's writing assistant is a Magic 8 He's like, of course I use AI to write, and he just shakes it a bit. You gotta shake the computer.
Tell me about the Weapon Master, because just by the name, it sounds like this might be a good fit.
The Weapon Master is gonna get an extra 5 hit points, just on dint of choosing the class. He gets access to martial melee weapons and martial shields, which he doesn't really use, so we probably just have him using a singular weapon. Although we'd probably give him a shield and just flavor it as not being there. Just so that
flavor is his arrow
he's
style.
not dying. Yeah, actually, there you go. But they've got the Blade Storm ability, which allows them to spend MP to attack multiple enemies at the same time. Bone Crusher, which allows them to either inflict status conditions or steal MP from enemies by attacking them. Or not steal, but make them lose MP instead of dealing damage.
Okay.
Breach allows them to make a free attack against a single creature. So they can attack, then do this. And when they do, they can either destroy a shield, equip its armor, or whenever the target suffers damage before the start of Sora's next turn, that source deals an extra set of damage to it.
Yeah, this sounds like a lot of shit that you would either
and there's
like
counterattack.
combo things, or like those things you can spend your AP on your different abilities and stuff. Like that one where you attack multiple enemies. That just sounds like the Cloud Strife, the whatever you call the strife where you like run real fast and your blade hits everything in that line.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
I don't remember what the name of that attack is.
And then melee counterattack just means that whenever it's kind of, I like how it's done here. Whenever you are hit or whenever something attacks you, whether it's a hit or a miss, if the result of the check was an even number, you get a free hit against it.
Oh.
So it's just kind of neat. It's just a way to
cool.
kind of like pop. And then melee weapon mastery will increase his accuracy check with all weapons that he uses by however much we invest in it.
Yeah, I say we go with this one.
Okay, so this is a good start. And we can choose up to 3 when we start, 3 different classes. But we can never have more than 3 classes below level 10. So each class, you can put 5 skills into it, choose 5, or choose 10 skills from it.
Okay.
When you do, you consider to master the class, then you can pick another class to dip into. So you get a benefit, you can choose from several different abilities, and then you get a benefit from that as well. So we'll start with Weapon Master. So we get plus 5 HP from this boy. We'll go with, what do we want to go with here? Just for our first ability.
First point being one of those abilities that you told me?
Yeah, we can figure out how much we want to invest or if we want more.
Let's do the counterattack one.
Okay. Let's just put that there for now. We've got to have at least 2 classes that he goes into. We can have up to 3 right out of the gate. 2 means that as you go on, you can kind of dip into another class and like fill an empty spot. 3 means you've got a play style you want to try to maximize out as quick as you can before you go on to another one. So as far as, and here's an interesting thing, because we did make him. I've got two options here.
Okay.
The first one is going into Elementalist because he does cast spells.
And they are primarily element-based spells. He's got a fire, he's got an ice, he's got a thunder. Yeah.
Yes. And we've got Spellblade in the Elementalist tree. This is a way for us to actually get. You know what I'm gonna do here? There we go. I'll throw both of them in on the same screen, and we'll just move back and forth. There we go. That way people can see what the heck it is we're talking about. We have Spellblade, which says normally it's insight and willpower. You make a check. But since our boy is, for lack of a better term, real cute but real dumb, that's going to be hard for him to do. Spellblade says whenever you cast an offensive spell that targets a single creature, if the spell has a certain cost that's like 10 or lower, which we can raise, and we've got a bow, brawling weapon, dagger, flail, spear, sword, which we're going to have, you can do the magic check using that weapon's accuracy check, effectively casting it through the weapon. So like it says,
better at magic, even though we have low insight.
So it says the magic check for an elementalist spell cast through a bronze sword would be Dex and Might +1 instead of Insight and Willpower.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay. This is also kind of helpful too because if we take the Weapon Master feat we were talking about, where'd it go? This one, the Melee Weapon Mastery. If we gain a bonus to all accuracy checks with melee weapons, that works with Spellblade. Because then we'll say, I'm going to make a magic attack, here we go. So that way we don't have to invest in two separate skills. We could just say we want Melee Weapon Mastery. Chunk that boy up, and then he's casting spells like crazy. So we want to go into Elementalist?
I think so.
Okay, and let's go with... And I think the benefit we get from this is, +5 MP. We'll go Spellblade. And we can invest in that. I put SL there because those little stars over there by the icon, that's how many times max you can take that skill.
Okay.
So right now...
SL up to your spell level?
Yeah. So right now, if a spell costs 10 or lower MP, we can cast it through a weapon.
Okay.
If we invest in it a total of 4 times, we can cast spells that cost 40 MP or lower.
What's an average for...
Average? Well, I mean, even for Elementalists, there's like Flare, or like that's fire damage, bolt damage, ice damage. Those are all 10.
Okay.
Yeah, even then, like we could take something like Glacies, which is up to 3 creatures, and just target a single creature with it to use our Spellblade feature.
So we will want to pump that at some point.
Yes, which we're going to want to do anyways, because Spellblade's neat, but we're going to have to take another level in it to get access to spells in the first place.
Gotcha. Okay.
So we'll take at least one. We'll take Elemental Magic. And then what spell should we take? Any of these ones with like a little red lightning bolt by it.
I think it's got to be Flare, because that's the first spell that Sora gets.
Okay.
Donald gives him fire.
So then let's go there, and then let's pump this up to 2 so that it can cast it through his sword.
Okay.
Because otherwise we won't be able to. It's too expensive.
Do we have the points for this?
We do. We got 1 for counterattack, 2 for Spellblade, 1 for Elemental Magic. So we've used 3, we've got 2 more.
Okay.
So we could, if we wanted to, pump 2 more into like melee accuracy for the weaponsmith.
Weapon master.
For the weapon master. So that way his accuracy with weapons is crazy good.
Let's do that.
Or we could try moving somewhere else with another ability. Or with another class.
Yeah, I think we should, because we got cool shit now. And let's be real, I'm gonna forget the shit that we have access to by the time we move on to a 3rd thing. So, we'll take this now, and then if we level Sora, we can eventually move into something else.
Okay. Because a good question is, what do we want from Sora? What kind of playstyle do we want from this character? We kind of want a red mage, but not really. Sora's got access to weapons, a Keyblade. He's got access to magic. He's kind of got a lot of access to a lot of different magic. We can get Cure without going into the Spiritualist class, which gets us access to like traditional white magic stuff. We don't have to worry about like ritualistic magic because Sora doesn't cast a lot of magic outside of fights. He's not curing Disney characters when they're down and out. He's just like, what a bummer, anyway, and moves on with his day.
Yeah, he's not a support class.
Seriously, Goofy gets hit in the head with a boulder and he's like, what in the... Oh my god, how would you...
I definitely don't have a healing spell.
I don't have anything to do here. Deep freeze!
I don't have 90 potions in my pack right now.
Cutscene bump kiss. But then after that, we kind of want him to be a little fast, because Sora's kind of quick.
Yeah. Sora's
a real quick character. So it might even be worthwhile. Let's take a look at what can we do with a rogue. Okay. That's not bad. Patches. That's not bad. Dodge says as long as you have no shields and no martial armor, your defense score is increased by your skill level in that.
But don't we have a shield? It's just...
We can get one.
Oh, but we haven't made that choice yet.
We have access to it. So if we say we don't want that, this is an option.
There we go.
High speed also says at the start of a conflict you can spend 10 mind points. And if you do, you can either get a free attack, perform a hinder or objective action. Hinders literally cause a status condition. An objective might be like, let me actually try to give a Kingdom Hearts example. You're in Wonderland in the first Kingdom Hearts game, and you need to turn off the stove so that the Trick Master doesn't like light his batons on fire. So I could say like, there's a clock over here with 2 spots. You need to spend 2 objective actions to turn off the stove. So at the beginning of a fight, you can just be like, yeah, I do that. And that's an objective action. And you gain a bonus equal to your skill level to all checks you perform as part of that chosen option. So that's not bad. Soul Steel's kind of neat and all that, but I don't know if we want to go too heavy in the rogue. Because he's not really that. He's just quick. He's a quick boy. Another option, not Lore Master. He's really cute and dumb as bricks. Fury might be another one. That's kind of good. Mainly just for how he does stuff. I wouldn't say Chimerist, because that's a lot of blue mage stuff, taking spells from monsters, being able to... It's kind of like the druid or the wild mage or things along that line. Sora just...
Yeah, he
just ain't that. He ain't that. I might even think about Arcanum, because he can summon spirits. And he's constantly pulling people out of his chest. So that could also be an option. Is we could give him an Arcanum right at the beginning. I don't know if any of these... There's a Forge Frost, there's Gate, Space Travel Void. Hey, there we go.
Yeah.
Arcanum of the Grimoire, of the Oak of the Sky, Sword Tower and Wheel. Wheel's even Destiny, Speed, and Time. That's not bad. Does that work with his playstyle, though? Is that kind of the thing that he does? That's hard to say. Trying to see if there's other options for Sora. Because he's kind of hard. At that point, you really kind of like dip into other classes. Like, Frenzy for sure. That way, he can get, like, Provoke or Withstand, or even Indomitable Spirits. He can heal himself a bunch. Guardian, probably less so. But you could do things that way. Or, actually, Orator. Now that I'm thinking about it. Because he's constantly just inspiring other people with his stupidity. So that's probably one for sure. And also Wayfarer. We could actually make like Goofy or Donald. Because we can give the Wayfarer is kind of the beast class. They can be. But they're also the travel class. So they can gain benefits for like getting information from an inn or traveling around the world or things like that. So we could actually create a faithful companion and make them like Donald or Goofy. So that's a way to go. But I think for now, probably the best thing to do for now is just keep these two. Let's give him a... Let's give him
that
more
magical
of this.
or that accuracy.
Yeah. Melee weapon, mastery.
Ooh.
Whoop.
One more.
I think it's gonna be 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh no, it's just gonna be 1 for right now. Because we've got 2, 3, and then 4, 5 with those two. Perfect. There we go. So his HP is gonna be +5, and his MP is gonna be +5, just from those things over there. And in terms of like weapons and what we get, actually, this gives us access to martial weapons and martial melee weapons and martial shields. Good news for us. And then let's check out what we can get in inventory stuff.
What can we
Because we need an extremely unique weapon. That doesn't seem like it would be painful, but it actually is.
I mean, again, at level 1, and kind of the neat thing is you can make, there's a lot of different guides in here I actually saw here. Let me see. Designing rare items. You can give qualities like this to a weapon. You just increase its cost and has all sorts of stuff. So like, you could make, what would it be? Probably like offensive or something along those lines. So like, it could be dual hunter or hunter. Weapon deals 5 extra damage to creatures of a particular species. We could say heartless, something like that. It deals 5 extra damage to any heartless creatures.
Kind of like favorite enemy.
Absolutely. Or each target hit by the weapon suffers a kind of thing. And then of course we just give them different keyblades. So we can be like, oh, you cleared this world? Here's a keyblade! And it has a different thing to it. But generally speaking, I also think you can increase, if it's one-handed, a two-handed weapon is one-handed, you can, I think, increase its damage, things along those lines. Give it multi. I think there's a way to just like increase the damage some of this stuff can do. But generally speaking, let's see here.
What is this? Where is the items?
Here we go. Equipment!
Sorry, what is that?
I got really emotional. Wow.
Equipment is
There we go.
very serious business.
No, it's serious business. Okay, so we're looking at something like a bronze sword. It's going to be just like something we can buy out of the gate. We have access to it because it's a martial weapon, so we can absolutely use it. So, a bronze sword. That would be Dex plus Might plus, I think it's 1, it says there? Plus 1. And then the damage is high roll plus 6. HR plus 6 physical. So because we've got melee weapon mastery, that's adding an additional 1. So our roll for this effectively is going to be dexterity and might, d8 plus d10 plus 2. And then the damage we deal is, of those 2 dice, whatever the highest result is, we deal that die in damage plus 6. So like if we roll a 10, we're dealing 16 damage to this thing. Whatever in the world we hit. And that's really fucking elegant. I love that. I love this. Just one roll and damage is calculated from it. Super neat. But there we've got... I am of the opinion that we give Sora 10 more levels, or 5 more levels, and see if he really comes online in a big way for us. What you think?
When you say comes online, what do you mean?
I really mean like the abilities of what a player might be expecting with Sora. How the playstyle of Sora is really going to work and work out, and how, like, if someone says, I want to play Sora from Kingdom Hearts in Fabula Ultima, right now, I think they've kind of got a rough idea of it. We've got a strong fighter with, I mean, obviously we can give him more equipment and stuff, like armor and an offhand weapon, or like an offhand shield and just say like, yeah, it's a buckler he wears, or it's one of his 75 belts. But we got a character that is pretty much using his strength, and we can just call it strength of what, for damn near everything. He's using it to cast spells, which he's only got in the bank. He's going to be able to do this.
Fire so far.
Yes, and he's only going to be able to do it twice because he's got an MP of 50.
And it costs 20 to use.
Yeah. Well, twice per like inventory point that he wants to use, because you can use inventory points to be like, wait, I've got an elixir, and get more of your magic back.
Okay.
So he's got a couple of that. He's got access to, with that, he's got access to fire and physical damage.
So then, to match the way that I play, at least, I would need him to have some kind of healing.
This would be the
some
point.
kind of ice, some kind of thunder.
Okay.
Because those are the ones that
triad.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I use pretty consistently. I use the elemental ones and I use the healing one. I don't really use the other ones unless there's a specific thing asking me to. You know, like I'll use Graviga on like the things that you have to float down in Hollow Bastion because they're up in the air for some reason.
I mean, that's something here too. He has no ability to hit things in the air right now. So like if I as a GM say like there's two Heartless and they're flying in the air and you're playing Sora.
How do we make him jump?
How do we get him to jump in the air?
Yeah.
A couple of, let me see here. Let's explore. I think there's a couple of ways to do it. Because I think there's a way to make someone a Dragoon. I think there's a way to do it. But I forget.
In a perfect world,
how.
We'd be able to let him fly after he goes to the
Yes.
Peter Pan world.
That would be
but
the
I don't
idea.
know how realistic that is.
There is one that's like you can jump high in the air and I guess I swore there was. Oh, was it these guys? No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't Crossfire. I sworn it was something like that. Maybe not. Maybe I'm making it up. Okay. Nope. Thought I had it, but I didn't have it. That can definitely be an item that we could make, like a Keyblade we can make for him. But he's got his fire to take care of enemies up high.
That's true.
So he's got that. So what I'm hearing is...
more elemental levels.
Yeah. So for the sake of this, let's pump 10 more levels into him.
Okay.
Let's get him to level 15.
What are we going to do for the healing? You mentioned there's a thing that we can do without going in like all white mage.
So let's explore that option.
Okay.
Because we get that option. And that's literally called mastering a class. So right now we want to try to master a class. Let me ask you this though. We got him covered in combat.
Okay.
If you're playing Sora at the table, how else do you want him to play? Do you want him to have auxiliary abilities? Do you want him to be the face of the group? Do you want him to spot stuff?
He definitely thinks he's the face of the group.
Okay.
Whether he's good at it or not, he believes that he is. He's a very brash character. You know, like he has his idea of this is the thing that we're gonna do, and he's always gonna go with that.
Okay.
It's weird because when you play, for me, when I play the video game, I'm invested in like the way the story is. I don't think a lot about like how, like, because the role play, you know, so to speak, is set in stone. It's the cutscenes. It already happened, so I hadn't really thought about that. But he's definitely the character who, like, loyalty is real high up. For him, that's super important.
And those are bonds
you can start having. He would do anything, you know, to protect whoever his friends are. Not real good with like compromise. I don't think that's a thing he gets, or because everything's either right or wrong. You know, like when the game starts, he's like 12. He's still very much in that mindset of good and evil. Like there are no gray areas for Sora. Even at the end of Game 3, I still don't think he has gray area, you know? Like, it's right or it's not, and he's all in on what he thinks is right. So I guess I think I'm kind of describing a paladin, if, you know, to put it in D&D terms. Like, that's the kind of strong belief in his own value systems without even necessarily the acknowledgement that they are value systems, if that makes sense.
So he's got 60 right now. He's got 50. Because that's might 5. Okay. So for this, he's gained 10 levels. And every time you level up, kind of like D&D, like whenever you level up your Constitution, every level in Fabula Ultima, you get 1 HP, 1 MP.
Oh, okay.
So
just one.
Yeah, your numbers don't really go up a whole lot, but we're about to give Sora 10 more skills.
I thought didn't we do it as like a whole die?
No, not a whole die. We'll actually increase our die at some point. The die is up here. But every time we level up, we just get 1 HP and 1 MP.
When we made because 5 is the base.
5's the baseline.
Okay.
Yeah. So we've already.
I was like, no, we did 8 times 5, and if it's not the whole die, why would we have done that? But that's because it's the first level.
Yeah, because we're getting 5 extra HP from here, so that's going to be DM times 5 plus 20, and then same with MP here. That's going to be 20 times willpower. So for Weapon Master. Because we gotta start mastering some classes here. Melee Weapon Master, we're gonna put this as skill level of 4. So now we're adding +4 to all of our accuracy checks, making this a total of +5. So
because we've got lock on, we hit pretty often.
So the average roll that we're gonna roll to hit something, and this you might not need on a character sheet. I just kind of like this to study it out. Average of a D8 is 4.5. 5.5. So 4 and 5, that's going to be 9. Plus the halves is 10. Our average roll is 15 to hit something.
What do I need to hit something?
Oh,
this means nothing to me.
The average difficulty level. The average, generally, even the game says, if you don't really know, make it a 10.
Oh,
because you've got 7, you start at 7, and then it increases by 3. So 7 to 10 to 13 to 16 to 19 if you really want to, but it starts getting crazy at that point.
So we're doing pretty well.
We're doing incredibly well. To hit anything, we're pretty much going to hit anything and everything that we want to.
Okay.
Casting spells through our blade as well. Speaking of which, let's go back to Elementalist and pump that to 4. So now we can cast spells that have an MP of 40 or below that target a single creature out of this +15 hit rating. Bonkers! So now we've got 4, 8, 9, 10. We need 5 more skillos. And we want to try to level some of these up. So let's put...
Yeah, the healing.
Yeah, we want to try to get to the healing. So let's try to get Weapon Master. We got only 5 more.
And then once we spend all those points, then we get a healing ability.
Then we can get a healing thing.
Okay.
So let's crank that down 1 maybe. Let's focus on Weapon Master first and get him super, super strong.
So then we also had...
we have Breach, which can allow you to make a free attack that doesn't deal damage, but can suffer more damage. I love the idea of Bone Crusher.
I was just gonna say, I think we do Bone Storm. Or, sorry, Blade Storm.
Blade Storm? Absolutely.
Because that reminded me of the strike attack.
And that's just a one and done, so we get access to that ability. We spend 10 MP, which we've got plenty of, to literally, the attack will gain multi 2, or if we increase the attacks, if it already has multi, it gets multi 3. So we can attack 2 enemies at the same time using the strongest hit. So we can just be like, those 2 enemies are going to go away. Just, with our 2 hit rating and extra damage and all that, yeah, they're going away. So how many skills do we got? We got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We've got 6 with a Weapon Master. We've got 3 here. We need more Weapon Master stuff. So let's go with Bone Crusher. Because that can inflict Dazed or Weak. And Dazed or Weak are status conditions that literally reduce an enemy's die. So Dazed decreases their Insight, great for spellcasters. Weak decreases their Might, which is really good for melee attackers. So if they're attacking with like a D10, we can make them weak, and now they're attacking with a D8. And let's pump that up to 4, which is literally what we've got. I don't really see Breach being something that Sora's really going to use, but that does get us to 10. So now what we get when we've mastered a class, let's see here, it's somewhere here. We get heroic skills.
Okay.
When a player character masters a class by bringing it to level 10, we acquire 1 heroic skill. Each one can only be taken once, but some heroic skills go stronger as you reach certain levels. Some of them have requirements as well that must be fulfilled. So there's some, so like for, let's see here, for Weapon Master, we can get Tempest Strike, concentrate multi-attacks on a single target, so we can literally hit a target multiple times. Or Powerful Strike, we deal extra damage in melee, which I think all the stuff, yeah, it's all down here. So those are ones we unlock permanently. So even if we get another class to level 10, we can still choose those because we've already gotten those there.
Gotcha.
But what we want right now is extra spells. Learn 2 spells from a class of your choice.
Oh, okay.
So we don't have to dip into Spiritualist. We can just say, we want those. Absolutely. So we're going to take some, no, potato.
Get down, baby. All the way. You can come sit with me if you want.
So we're going to get some extra spells from Spiritualist. And we're going to get... Ooh, where is it? Where is it? There's Heal. I think that's the one we want.
It's not that big a leap. You got it. Good girl.
Heal, and then there is... Oof. You know?
What do
I think we gotta do that. Soul Weapon. You imbue a weapon with a cleansing energy of your spirit. Until the spell ends, all damage dealt by the weapon becomes the light type.
Yeah, 100%.
100%. That's what we gotta get.
That's Sora right there.
That is 100% Sora. Okay, so now we've got access to heal and magic. I don't think we can cast that through our blade, because they aren't, neither one of those, they aren't offensive spells.
Gotcha.
So that we're just using our insight for. We got access to it, but we aren't the best. We're the E-break for healing. when everybody else is down, and we've got no inventory points to be like, here's a potion. We're just like, where's Donald? Donald's down.
Donald doesn't have any magic, yeah.
So then we've got 2 more. 2 more things that we can do. And we've got to get some more elemental magic. That's right. So 2 more points here will get us to Elementalist 5.
Ow.
And then we can choose some potato.
Be nice to mommy.
Very sweet thing. A very sweet thing.
My hair is too big of a temptation. Here, I'll put it up, Jacob.
You okay, little one? Whoop. Okay. Alright, so we got fire damage. We want things that deal damage to a single creature, so we can cast through it. We've got Iceberg. So let's do that. There's our Deep Freeze. And our Thunder is literally Thunderbolt. That's bolt damage.
There we go. Although Thunder is normally more of like a range thing, but that still works. I mean, not a range thing, a multi thing.
What is?
Thunder.
Thunder. Oh, we can definitely choose... I thought we could. Let me see here. Thunder damage, thunder. Or a bolt. Oh, there isn't one that has a... Ooh. Okay.
You have Fulgur.
Vortex is also arrow. That's exactly what that is. We've got... What is that? I'm sorry?
Fulgur underneath Flare.
Fulgur, yeah. That's up to 3 creatures, so that would only be able to target 1. But you're right, that is bolt damage. So let's take Fulgur. Because at the very least we can just say we're going to target 1 creature, and we can cast it through our spell that way. It's a little less, but if we decide to go AoE, we can still attempt to cast it.
Girl.
There we go. So I think at level 15 this has kind of come online. I think the next option for another class, because we're still really flexible with Sword. There's a lot of places we can go. We can't take any more Weapon Master stuff. So we can either which we probably will, dip into Elementalist to take more of Spellblade, because I think when we do that, that allows us to cast spells of a higher level, with higher level magic. We may not necessarily need to do that though, but we certainly can.
No, you can't, unless you want to meow right into that microphone.
But we could also take more elemental magic, or just more Spellblade, what have you. But we've got some options.
Be gentle, my little nice. I know, it's so weird that we're both over here. We never both sit in this corner.
So weird. Yeah, I think after that we'd probably, if you wanted to be more offense oriented with Sora, you'd probably go Fury or Guardian. Honestly though, I'd probably either go Orator or Wayfarer.
Orator sounds...
Orator is very much like you can spend, it's very Bard heavy. So you can spend some mind points to give a bunch of debuff a bunch of creatures, or encourage, my trust in you, things like that.
Get down, Tato.
He's just sulking on the table. Oh. Oh, kitten's like, nobody's playing with me, just batting around our little laser pointer we have for her. Nobody's using this for me to play with.
Watch this little love.
This cute little thing. Oh my god.
What's that?
But yeah, I think for Sora I'd probably go Wayfarer first.
Okay.
Because they've got access to Resourceful to get inventory points back, or Tavern Talk so that they can learn stuff. Treasure Hunter is incredible, or even just well-traveled.
Treasure Hunter definitely describes Sora.
Yeah.
Talking to people to gain information is perhaps less of his wheelhouse.
Yeah, really, definitely so.
People have to tell him a thing 3 times before he's like, oh, so what you're saying is...
Oh my gosh, okay.
Or I'd go Arcanist for him to, like, gain summons and things like that. You know, like if you tell your GM, like, I actually want to go to these different worlds and gain summons, you're like, okay. Like, if you take a class in Arcanist, you can start unlocking those.
Wayfarer makes sense, though, because you also have to do, like, the gummy ship traveling.
Yes, gummy ship travels and all that stuff, yeah.
Whether you want to do the gummy ship or not, you have to.
Yeah. But this is not bad. This is not a bad character sheet for Sora so far. I mean, we didn't give him, like, any armor or anything like that so far, but at level 15, which is, what is that? I think that's going to be like 20 sessions.
Yeah.
20 sessions. Sora comes online in full form. And that is really 3 different kinds of elemental attacks, which is great in this game because a lot of enemies are going to have vulnerabilities that you can exploit. So this is a character that is definitely more melee oriented. Is really the big weakness for Sora. Number 1 is trying to interact with folks.
Yes.
Because his insight and willpower are just okay, and our boy is super dumb.
Yeah.
Ranged enemies that are at range, that are
we can do fire.
That aren't vulnerable to magic. If they don't have any vulnerabilities to that, and they're just like physical enemies, Sora's kind of bunkus. He's gonna need help
too, though.
Yeah, that is very true. He's gonna need help from a lot of other people, but anything that's in melee range, he's gonna be able to take out. Blade Storm is just hitting people like crazy. His plus hit rating is nutso. So getting any kind of other Keyblade. In fact, we could literally just flavor this as Keyblade. There we go. Just baseline. Oh, wait, hold on. We're good. Kingdom Key. Baseline Keyblade.
And even at just that first level 5, he still can hit things. He's still got the fire spell.
Yep.
There's still, like, you can still tell that it's Sora.
Yeah, and he's going to be dealing an average of maybe 11 to 12 damage, just on average, something like that. Just based on the high roll, whatever that could potentially be. Really good. This is a fun character to play, in my regard. But I mean, then again, you're also playing an idiot. So that's really like, if you're playing as Sora, you really want a lot more. This Sora, anyway, you want a lot more fights in the game.
Mm-hmm.
If you dip into Orator or Wayfarer, at that point you kind of want more scenes to happen outside of combat, so you can like use your mana to help people or increase their die size for the scene and help them out that way. But Sora, you know, if he's not first, he's last. If he's not the main character, he's shut up in a corner, just being like, "I'm just happy to be here. I don't know what's happening. People are talking, and it's not me."
If this Sora, you very much want him to have a handler, like somebody who's like,
Yes.
"Hey, we're going into town. Let me do the talking. I'm gonna make sure that everything works out. It might sound weird, but we're gonna be fine.
Yeah,
Everything's
fine.
cool."
Yeah, he just rolls into town like, "What needs bopping?" Yeah, this is this Sora for sure, 100%. So now my question is, what kind of character would you like to? You don't have a whole lot of experience with JRPGs. We could either try to recreate BB, who was a D&D character of mine, or we could try to recreate a D&D character of yours, or Pathfinder. Or, if you would be, we could make your character sheet. If I say I'm going to run Fabula Ultima, which I absolutely am going to try to do at some point in time, we can make your character sheet.
I mean, you gave us an outline at the top of the show.
I did, yes.
You charted our progress.
Well,
your slideshow is prepared.
We could shift. We could shift. I could change.
Are you leaning into that more because you...
Either. I'm not leaning into anything.
Okay.
I'd like to know what you would like to do. Because I've very much spearheaded what this is going to be and asked your opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm wondering what you would like to do. If you want to make a character with things you've seen, or like asking leading questions and I can help you fill in the blanks, or if we want to make something that we both really know of and try to fill in the blank spots on the character sheet. And let me pull up another extra blank character sheet here. Boop. It's just that easy.
It's just all online.
Yeah, well, I mean, these are
Free
through
to
the
fill.
websites. Yeah, these are through the websites. This is a form fillable, and you can just print this sucker right out. It's great.
Beautiful.
Great.
Okay, sure.
Whoop.
That's not a character you've played.
No, not at all. Yeah, what would you like to do? That's a question I commonly ask because I GM so much. What do y'all want to do? What's going
I
on?
mean, do you... And you're asking because you don't mind. You're not bothered either way.
No, I'm not bothered.
Let's make me one.
Let's make you one?
Yeah.
Alrighty then. So I'm just going to put a Q up there in the corner. For no other reason than every character you've ever made ever has to have one.
No, they have K sounds generally.
Okay.
But I have now played 2 characters that don't. I've played Al and Mara.
QK.
No K sound in there.
We'll just put QK.
Look, okay. Somebody's way too salty.
It's so shady this summer. There's so much shade. Thank God it's so hot.
Who do I want to be?
All right, so then we'll just start at a D8. So again, let me help you out a little bit here. We can start with one of those classic character ideas if you want to, and we can change those as much as we want. So we can start there and edit, what have you. But we'd be making a character at level 5, so this would be like your first session of play. JRPG characters and Fabula Ultima characters. Battle and combat is there as a way to, have some fun and get some experience. But the stories are very much about them and about themselves, because a lot of your character, especially like bonds and things, a lot of this stuff is going to be themed around the world you build with your game master, because you do that first. So a lot of that will be flavored in certain ways. So the best way to think of these classes is really in their skills. How do you want to play? How do you want to come at the game? Some of them are definitely, and I see you immediately looking at lore master stuff, because some of them are definitely insight-based, you know stuff, you're well-educated. Orator is definitely the bard. Good stuff in and out of combat, but definitely buffs. You've got like the Guardian that's good at being the tank, the Fury that's great at being offensive, or like monk builds, things like that. You just saw a weapon, like a weapon master that can cast spells through blade and things like that, has a wide access to things. So what would your play style be for like a classic JRPG? You imagine, because I know your experience is Kingdom Hearts, end of list.
Well, I mean, when I hear JRPG, I'm immediately thinking of the combat, because like I said, like a lot of those more role-playing things, that's already kind of locked in for you. Like at most you have like 3 options of what to say. Let's be honest, all kind of the same thing anyway. It's basically like, do you accept this quest? Yes or no? No. Are you sure?
Yeah,
you can't progress the game if you don't say yes.
I mean, something I really do like about this is Fabula points are given. Like when you critically fumble, you get a Fabula point. You get a Fabula point. You get 2 if you surrender at 0 HP. Something neat about this that I really like is that if I'm your game master, I can never kill your character. I'm literally not allowed to.
Yeah, we get to the sacrifice.
You either get to like surrender and it's like, oh, the fight's done, or it's like, no, I'm gonna sacrifice myself. Like I'm going to, like in Final Fantasy II, I'm gonna catch the boulder and tell everybody to make a break for it. And then you can come in with a new character. You get 2 if you surrender at 0 HP. You get a Fabula point whenever a villain makes an entrance. That's if they show up and they're like, hello! Or I have a Game Master scene, or like a cut scene, where like a little goblin is like, oh my god, there's the heroes! And they go and they tell a villain nearby. Even in one of those where you can't interact, I give everybody a Fabula point. And then you get 1 if you have none at the start of the session.
I can see a lot of Game Masters being like, well, I'm just giving away all these Fabula points, because a lot of Game Masters are like, okay, I shouldn't say a lot, but I've known people who are like, I want to play with my little minis. Like, I'm here to have a good time.
Absolutely.
Yes, sometimes you all can play too.
But I mean, that's the point. You can use a Fabula point to invoke a trait you have to re-roll 1 or both of the die. You can spend another one to invoke a bond you have with someone else, and you add that number to the check, which is like 1 through 3. Or you can spend a Fabula point to alter the story, which is literally yes-anding whatever exists. So it could be the fight with the Trick Master, Kingdom Hearts. Let's just say we're doing that. You could say, can I spend a Fabula point to say that the oven isn't on yet? And I could go, yeah, absolutely.
And now he has
so the objective could still be there, but now he's got to go and turn it on.
And then that triggers.
And then that could trigger it for somebody else to go and turn it off. Or you could say, can I spend a Fabula point to cast ice magic at it and complete the objective? And I'd say, yeah, that'd be great. So then you could say, because that might not have been something that's established, the oven's on. You're not saying I spend a Fabula point to say no.
Yeah.
But you're saying a Fabula point to be like, I want to alter this in that way. Or even like, can I spend a Fabula point so that Alice doesn't get kidnapped here? Like, could she just be okay? And you'd be like, yeah, she doesn't get kidnapped. Like, she goes somewhere else, but she doesn't get kidnapped, yeah.
And now the whole game is
And now the whole game is different!
Hey, beautiful girl.
But yeah, so you can spend Fabula points to literally alter the story in those ways. So unlike JRPGs where it's say yes or nothing happens, hey. To say yes or like the story doesn't happen, you could say yes and then spend a Fabula point to be like, actually, could it be over here instead? Or could this have something to do with my backstory? And be like, yeah, sure.
Well, I guess because that is cool, but I more mean like, when I'm gonna sit down to play any kind of role-playing game at a table with other folks, ow, be soft. I'm thinking of other ways of interacting the world beyond combat. Yeah. And when I think of playing a JRPG or any kind of like computer or console-based RPG, I'm thinking more of the combat. Yeah. And I'm not really thinking of like what kind of character I want to be in any way beyond combat, because like that's all just in my head anyway and is not going to play out mechanically in any way in the things I have either seen or watched or played.
Yeah, that's very true.
But having said all that, I think I want to be kind of a cross between Indiana Jones and the researchers in Tears of the Kingdom. Like, I want to be like a treasure hunting adventurer, kind of.
Definitely. I really like that.
And I think I want to start with Lore Master for this. Because I think Lore Master is going to give me more of that.
I think we're going to go Lore Master and then Wayfinder. Or I think it's Wayfarer. There we go.
I mean, we could go full Moana with it if you want.
Let's pop that out. I think those are the 2 classes we're probably going to start with in order to make this happen. But first and foremost, because we do got to figure this out, what do you want your... Well, no, we don't have to. Let's skip that
that's
and
okay. We can do the...
Let's do classes
do
first so that you see what your skills are, so that you know what you want your dice to do.
Okay. Well, I mean, I know for sure I'm going to want my insight to be good.
Yes. So Lore Master, you're going to get +5 MP, just on dint of choosing that class.
Yeah, permanently increase your maximum mind points by 5. I see that.
So you got Focus, which is another way to increase your mind points. And when it says an open check, that is literally a check that's not pass or fail, but how well you succeed. So that could be like, if you want to enter a scene and really like notice what's going on, that might be an insight check to like study the scene, and based on how good you do, depends on how much stuff you see and how much information you get. Do that singular check. Accuracy checks with knowledge is power, that's to hit. Those are the things you roll to hit.
Yeah, I think I want that trained memory. I just don't know how applicable that is at like level 5.
I get that.
I feel like I maybe want to wait on that, but that's the one that I want the most. That's the most calling to me, because that's very much your Mind Palace ability. You may perfectly recall the details of any scene you have visited within the past week. You can go back in time within your mind in order to examine and investigate such scenes again. Your Flash of Insight skill will apply to these memories as well. To me, that's just like a cool thing that I want to have.
I mean, that would be a way to do that would probably, as a game master, a way that could be run is also a Mind Palace, but that'd really be pulling more inspiration from Blades in the Dark, which I know you might not have too much familiarity with, but Blades in the Dark says instead of doing the classic D&D thing and planning for 2 hours and then you get to the scene and none of it happens, instead has things called flashbacks. So you're like, you get to the side of the wall here, you're gonna need a grappling hook, and someone says, oh, I brought that, and they spend a point to be like, that's what I prepared for. And then you go, so you get up to the top and then you see like 3 guards that are walking around, and somebody else can be like, I've planned out their route. And so that, like, that's another check, but that's a way to prep. So that it's
more like a rule of cool.
Kind of, very much so. It's very much like Fate Core, where you got like, I have this narrative ability, can I use this here? Along with getting rid of the idea of having players needing to be psychic and instead be reactionary to what they're doing, but to a limited scope and a limited amount. So there's still checks to make and there's still tension, but it's ways for players to just kind of go on any adventure they want, with the game saying they're fully capable people and they've known the job. Like, they scoped out the job, like Ocean's 11. They know the job, they've scoped it out, they've planned it, but that part's not fun. The heist is fun. So same thing here, you could have trained memory to be like, you go into a dungeon and be like, can I recall that book that I read about the goddess that this temple is built to? And I say, yeah, sure. And that would be like a side scene where I describe, like what it is you're looking for, you make some insight checks, I give you some info, and then we're back in it. So that would be how that be run.
Like to kind of think of like an Indiana Jones kind of thing. It seems like there's probably, like, I'm looking for the temple or the ruins or whatever kind of site I'm going to, and I'm probably like finding things along the way that I may not necessarily know are important then, but then I get there and I'm like, okay, I see this puzzle, let me recall back to when I was talking to that drunk guy in the bar and I did not think he had anything of value to say, but now I remember he said something about diamonds, and so like I'm gonna revisit that conversation to make it applicable here.
Yeah, absolutely. Train memory would be good as a small roleplay scene of going back in time and not a notes check, because that doesn't feel very fulfilling and you're not using that skill. So absolutely, yeah, so train memory. It says you can use your Flight of Insight skill, so do we want that as well? Because that's a 13 or higher on a check to investigate a creature. The study action during conflict is literally that. You make an insight check and you can learn its HP, MP, vulnerabilities, whether it's immune to anything. It's a way for you to get info.
I think in Pathfinder,
Yes.
We have a player
Recall
who's been
knowledge.
using. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah. But knowledge is power is probably also good because I imagine I'm gonna have a lower. Well, I'm gonna have a lower something than insight. I'm probably gonna have the highest insight.
Mhm. Now again, you only need 2 classes. So if you
Right.
really want, you can spend 4 points in Lore Master right at level 5, and then 1 level in another class.
Because it's 1 point for the first one, 2 points for the second one, 3 points for the third
No,
one.
it's just 1 point each.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
literally 1 point each. That's exactly what we did with Sora. We've given him 15 different skills or
Mhm.
skill points and stuff because he's level 15.
I guess for now, let me do knowledge is power and flash of insight. And I will just know that I'm coming back for trained memory at some point.
Oh, okay, so you don't want that right away.
I mean, I do, but I don't know.
I mean, we can. I mean, that would be the idea. If I was your game master, that's how I would run it. And for any game masters out there that might be listening, that would be my suggestion, is not to treat it like, did you take notes? But instead treat it as a, yeah, and you gain a little something extra. Or something that we didn't roleplay through when you were talking to that guy at the tavern was, he said something like this.
Yeah.
Should be like a couple of checks and things like that to go back in time and get a little something extra. Which could be fun.
It'd
But
be
you don't
more
have to
like
take it right away.
You didn't ask this when we were at the table, but now that you're thinking back to it,
Yeah.
actually you kind of did, or you picked up in some way.
It's a
Yeah.
way to get some extra info. So did you want that right away?
I mean,
or just
if I do that, then I only get one thing from whatever other...
Okay, well you said, we'll come back to it. You said for sure you wanted knowledge is power, right?
Yes.
Knowledge is power, which for those playing along at home, that is accuracy checks and replacing one part of that accuracy check with insight. Either part, which is kind of neat. And then flash of insight, you said?
Yes.
Skill level 1, just for now. Alright, so now we've got Lore Master at 2. And then I figure you would probably want Wayfarer. That can give you a pet if you want to have like an extra class to do some damage with. Or just like Tavern Talk or Treasure Hunter. Well, you said you wanted Indiana Jones. That's right. Then
I mean,
what I would
kind
do,
of maybe a rogue, but I'm scrolling through the book to Wayfarer because that's a pretty good option too.
I mean, for like archaeologist kind of thing, that's literally it. Part of what makes Wayfarer good is Treasure Hunter and well traveled. Let's say you want to get from one town to another, or let's just say you want to get from one town to another, and it's 1 day or like 2 days travel to get there. The game has something called travel checks, so it just says you're gonna get there in a day. That's gonna happen. And there's going to be like some interlude scene and rest scenes for people to like build up their character and rest. There might even be combat, but you roll a d6, and that's the only check in the game that you want to roll low on. Because if you roll a 1, you find something cool. You find some ruins. You find a ruined wagon. You find like a ruined golem that's clutching something glowing in his hand. But like on a high check, on like a 6, you encounter a danger. So that's like an earthquake or an actual combat or things like that. Wayfarer says, well traveled, you reduce the die you're rolling by 1 step. And Treasure Hunter says you make a discovery on a roll of your skill level +1 or lower.
So at first level, I make it on a 2.
Yeah, 2 or a 1, you encounter something cool.
That's like 30% chance if you roll a d6.
Throwing 2 into it literally makes it a coin flip of finding something cool or nothing at all or a danger.
Yeah.
It's really cool. Hi, the Lion of Quimera. Are you winning, son? Kind of. We're building characters for Fabula Ultima. So in a way.
Everybody wins when you build a character.
Everybody wins when you're reading.
But again, you don't need to take Wayfarer, but you say Indiana Jones and like the adventurous.
I think
people
Wayfarer
from-
makes sense.
That's what
I was thinking rogue for some of like the more combat-y kind of, you know, rolling out of the way, dodging traps, stuff like that.
Oh, I'm sorry,
I think if I'm...
You're doing silly Lancer stuff here. No one seems to be streaming it though. What a bummer. That is sad. Lancer is cool. Lancer is a RPG in a really cool fucking lore. Like, some people have been memeing on it on YouTube, but the lore is fantastic. Like, humanity at some point creates an AI that makes itself a deity because, like, it discovers eldritch math. Like, we make an AI to be like, help us design like faster than light travel, and it's like, you got it, but the only way to get there is math that we can't comprehend. And it makes a deity called Ra out of itself and starts converting like AI throughout the guys, and we're like, oh shit. But it's like a mech thing. So like your character sheet is a mech suit and you customize various parts of it. Like I want to have a laser sword and a gun on my shoulder. And yeah, it's awesome. Apparently it's superstition amongst Lancer players that the longer the mech name, the better it will perform on the field. My best idea thus far is 7 years ago our fathers brought forth upon this space station a new mech conceived in liberty and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal. Yeah. That's good. That's the whole mech suit name. There they are. Fresh pilot out of the academy. Yep. Give me the keys.
Oh.
Who said that? I think it was Bromaham Lincoln. I think. Some really old guy back on Earth 1. Back when Cradle was still called Earth. But that's neat. Good on you. Ra's cool. Don't break the first contact agreement unless you want him to manifest Demos over your colony, make all your machines insane. Yeah, oh my god, Lancer's cool. I gotta get a Lancer PDF. It's awesome. But yeah, all these indie art, this is why we're doing this, all these indie RPGs. So fucking cool! But anyways, back to your character. Did we want Wayfarer? Or did we want something else? What do we think?
So here's the thing.
Yeah.
Let's say I take Lore Master and Wayfarer.
Yes.
I'm probably not going to hit anything.
No, I mean, you can. We still haven't changed a lot of your dice yet. But these aren't a lot of combat skills.
Right.
So when combat starts, you're really there so far as this character build is looking.
I'm there to help find stuff, to make travel easier and more fun, to...
I mean, Knowledge is Power says you're going to roll Insight every time you try to hit something.
Yeah.
So if you make your Insight die a D10, and the other die you're rolling is a D8, you're hitting the average everybody else is for combat. You want to roll a D10 and a D8 every time you try to hit something. It's the best combination you can have out of the gate. So Knowledge is Power is helping you do that square one. Flash of Insight is helping you to learn more about creatures with the study action and things like that.
Right.
So you're really helping the group to hit stuff, sure. But, and how you want to do that, you can take another class to do that, like Sharpshooter or Weapon Master or just Fury, just to hit stuff a little better. Because Knowledge is Power will definitely combo off of stuff. But yeah, you're going to be there to like help discover vulnerabilities about creatures for other party members to go ham on. Is really what it comes down to in combat. Wayfarer is going to help you make travel checks a hell of a lot better for the whole party, if that's what you want to go for.
Eventually get a companion.
Or yeah, get a companion if you actually want to.
Now,
someone actually is streaming Lancer now. Good luck with Fabula Ultima. Thanks very much. Enjoy your Lancer content. That's super cool.
Yeah, because Wayfarer makes a whole lot of sense, and then, but if I were to add like Rogue or something to Lore Master, then I've got. I'm more of the thief archaeologist as opposed to just the smart archaeologist.
Just a smart one. Okay.
But I think.
Let's go Wayfarer and then Rogue.
Well, hey, no,
I know, it's a fillable PDF. We can change that. It ain't no thing. This ain't pen.
Yeah, I think I'll do Wayfarer, and I'll just be hoping that it's not... that it's a more RP-based campaign and less of a, we're just gonna do lots of fighting kind of campaign.
Well, you don't want to do lots of fighting anyway, because fighting can be straightforward, but again, you aren't useless in a fight.
Yeah,
That's not what this
no,
character
I know.
design is. This character design is you are standard. You've met the bar in combat, and you've got a ton of extra abilities outside.
I'm just gonna have a lot of repetitive kind of turns. Like, it's gonna be like, I take my pistol and I fire. I take my pistol and I fire.
That can be it.
Like,
yeah,
that's gonna be
absolutely.
my combat turn. It won't be like, I'm gonna use my ability to do this, to do that. I mean, I will be able to use my
You
knowledge
can.
as power.
Yeah.
My, the other one.
Yeah, no, that's you got it right. Knowledge is power.
No,
is
knowledge is
insight.
power.
Flash of
Replaces
insight is
Flash
study
of insight.
and all that. Yeah.
That's the one. Yeah.
It might also be a good idea at some point to take quick assessment as a lore
Yeah.
master, because that just says at the start of the conflict you can spend some mind points and gain some info right away.
I think once I start leveling this character, I would for sure just like go all the way in on Lore Master, get
All the
all
way
that,
through lore
because
master.
all of that is so fun.
Yeah,
There's so much cool shit in there.
that's what you want then. Yeah,
Yeah.
baby. Get it.
But I think I will. I'll do Wayfarer and I'll take Well Traveled and Treasure Hunter.
Okay.
And then some of this other stuff is real cool too, but I'm first gonna go all in on Lore Master when I level that one up.
Woo. Oops, just one out. There we go. Okay, and you just wanted one level in each of those, right?
Yeah, I think so. Well, that's all I have left, right?
Wayfarer is going to be 2. And Lore Master currently is at 2. So you've got 1 left. That is going to give you +2 inventory points, which is awesome. So we know that's already going to start at 8.
Well, yeah, if I've got 1 more left,
You've got 1
then
more left.
I'm going to go
You can either
back
put
up
it
to
into
Lore
Flash of
Master.
Insight and make that better, or you can go into another Lore Master skill, like Quick Assessment,
Yeah, I
and
want
start
Train
investing.
Memory.
Train Memory, okay.
Because I really wanted that before, I just didn't think that I could, I didn't want to, like, limit my whatever other class I took.
Okay, so now we know what kind of die you want. You want Insight to be a D10. Something's got to become a D6.
Yes, and I think because I did not take the Rogue, I should make it Dexterity.
I mean, you can always take the Rogue later if you want to. You're never locked out of a choice.
Right,
in
but
fact,
there's lots of cool shit in these two.
Yeah, no, I mean, there is. And it's definitely worthwhile to, like, focus in and help yourself out there, but there's lots of different ways you can get other skills as well. So don't just be like, let's make this stat bad, because I'm never going to take it.
More ranged kind of weaponry anyway.
You can
Maybe
have
if we make
might.
might be my 6.
Might be your D6, because you spend more time in a library.
Yeah.
Okay. So then, just with that,
Uh-huh.
HP is might times 5, so that's going to be 30. Plus your level, so we're looking at 35. MP is willpower times 5. That's going to be, what, 8 times 5 is 40?
So 45.
So 45, 50, because Lore Master gets you an extra +5. And then you've got 8 inventory points. So again, like I said, you are not useless in combat. You've got more inventory points than anybody else.
I'm
so,
just not interesting in combat. I don't have unique combat things to do. In the way that we gave Sora, like, Sora's combat turn, Sora's got a million choices.
Yeah, because it's all about choice and adapting.
Right.
Your character right now in combat is really about giving everybody else info.
Yeah.
And that is the best way you contribute. Like, when a combat starts, they're going to look to your character and be Q or K or whatever the hell your name is. Like, do you have anything, like, do these have any vulnerabilities? They're not going to ask the game master. They're going to ask you. And you're going to be like, let me study this thing. And you get a bunch of info out of it. And then you go, there you go. Now we know. So, yeah, your point is, this character is not useless in combat by any means.
No,
You're
I
also
know.
a kind of de facto healer with more inventory points. You're going to be pulling out more stuff and using it on other characters so that they don't have to on their turns. So if you have a dedicated healer and they're out of mana, you're like, I got you. Pull something out, give them more mana, and then they can heal people. Things along that line. So yeah, it's really difficult to make a useless character here. It really, really is. I don't want you to think that you have, less interesting, sure, but again, 10 levels, you can make yourself more interesting. interesting.
Well, and the interesting stuff, the stuff this character wants to do is mostly outside of battle anyway.
Mostly outside of combat, yeah. Defense, again, like we saw, defense is going to be your dex. So that's going to be a d8. And magic defense is your insight. So that starts at 10, which is great because that's
very well
usually
defended for
weaker.
magic stuff.
So like when enemies cast spells or when you cast spells, the check or the difficulty level is magic defense instead. That's normally weaker. So you're going to be able to probably take hits from spells a little better. So now let's give you some equipment. Let's see what we're looking at here for equipment. I think it's going to be...
do that on here. Does this have a table of contents?
Yeah, it sure do.
How do I...
We're going to be
Hey!
And then we go equipment. There we go.
And that's not all of it. That's just where it starts.
Right.
They're giving you some rules on it and all that. But based on what we got, there's no martial stuff. So anything with that little red star, you cannot use.
Okay.
So
I couldn't use a pistol if I wanted
couldn't use a pistol even if you wanted to.
But I could use a crossbow so that I can do insight and insight instead of dex and insight.
Yes, actually. Yeah, that's great. Hi, Nick Mendoza. Hello. Yeah, let's give you one of those immediately. So your weapon is crossbow, and that's going to be a dex plus insight check.
Which means with my knowledge is power, it's an insight plus insight.
Yes, absolutely. In fact, we're just gonna see how that works.
And it'll deal HR plus 8 physical.
And we'll just even put it right here. Insight plus insight. We want that on your character sheet, which is already going to be a D10 plus D10. And then the result is the high roll plus 8.
8 physical.
I can spell! It's physical. So the average roll for this, just out of curiosity, is going to be an 11.
Nice.
Because half of a D10 is 5.5. 5.5 is 11. So that's the average roll. That's not bad. So already, level 5 enemies probably have a defense of 10, maybe 11. So you're rolling at that already. And there's no...
It's ranged, but I don't... because of how this one works, it's not like we're not counting hexes in this system.
Yeah,
it's
you just
like you're close or you're ranged, and that's it.
Well, literally, the game even says, like, do not worry about that. Don't worry about distance or things like that, unless it's, like, part of a puzzle that characters need to, like, move from spot to spot. But otherwise, like, you're going to be able to take care of any melee enemies. You're going to be able to take care of any flyers, anything like that. Absolutely.
So I don't need to worry, because of that, I don't need to worry about also getting an up-close weapon to go with that. I can just do the crossbow. Okay.
You'd want a melee weapon, probably in your backpack, in case you wanted to use that. Sword category is out, that's all martial, so is spears.
But a dagger?
Now, I mean, again, daggers, yes. You wanted Indiana Jones. There is a chain whip.
Oh, is there?
Yeah, that you could
right there.
You could just flavor as a whip.
That's dex plus dex, though, whereas the steel dagger has insight plus dex already.
That's true.
So then I can have it be insight plus insight.
Insight plus insight, okay. Metagaming, I don't got a problem with that. Let's just put a steel...
Oh, but the chain whip does a lot more damage.
Yes. It does as much as your crossbow does.
Shit, that's really good. And my dex isn't terrible. I tanked
so,
my might, not my dex.
Metagaming, you probably don't want to use a whip because your crossbow is going to be better. You're going to be more likely to hit with your crossbow, and it does the same amount of damage as the chain whip does. So if you wanted to metagame
well, if that's the... If I'm not going to use it anyway, then I would want it more for, like... I would want a dagger then, because I can use a dagger in more, like to help me pry this thing out, or to help me, like, you know, like there's more. I can't really think of a lot of other uses I'd have for a chain whip, because it's probably not long enough to restrain somebody unless I'm like actively holding it around them. Which at that point, like, someone in the party probably has rope. So yeah, I think I'm gonna do steel dagger then.
Crossbow in your offhand because it is a two-handed weapon. And then armor. Armor here usually is split into two categories. There's regular and martial.
Mm-hmm.
Martial is there for people with low dex because it's just a flat number. Otherwise, your armor is the highest value on your dexterity die plus a modifier, or just highest off of that. So like travel garb for you would be 8 + 1 would be a 9, and then magic defense would be your insight die +1. So not too terribly bad. Your defense right now is at an 8, magic defense at a 10. That add +1 to both.
It would also lower my initiative.
It would lower your initiative. It'd be a modifier that you'd have, yeah.
Whereas combat tunic doesn't do that, but it's just more expensive.
Yeah,
How
that's
much
more
money
expensive.
do I have? Is there a pool that I'm drawing from here?
You start with. You want to roll some dice?
Sure.
Okay, let's see actually how much money you have here. I believe. Ooh, where is it? Oh, I think it's in character creation. Let's see here. Let's see before you start the safety rules and all that. Yeah, we got all of that. All these names, all this stuff. Character creation with themes, all that destiny. Inventory points. And we got all that. Purchase starting equipment. So you have 500, but then you're going to roll 2d6 times 10 for additional zenith that you have in your initial savings.
Okay.
So if you want to roll some dice, yeah. You got really excited at that. God bless you.
What?
No, because I'm in the same boat. I'm like, yeah, roll some dice.
We're talking about RPG things today. Roll some dice.
All right, everybody, get ready for that.
The clicky
audio
clackies.
experience.
Oh yeah. We can roll it a little ways
2d6
away
times
from
10?
the mic. 2d6 times 10.
Okay. Yeah, you're right.
Just a little ways away. I still get it. What'd you get?
I'm gonna pull it over to you so you don't think I'm making it up.
Nice, 10.
Yeah.
So that's another 100. Okay.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, you start with 600.
Zenith.
Start with 600 zenith.
Okay,
All right, and
my
a
crossbow cost me
is
150.
150.
I don't remember
So that
what my
would make
dagger
that
cost.
what? 450
450.
left.
My steel dagger was also 150, so that means I have 300.
So you can afford that shirt if you want it. You can afford the combat tunic.
Can. And that's real nice. Yeah, I want a combat tunic.
Okay.
So now I only have 150 zenith left.
Not bad. You don't need to buy potions and stuff like that because that's your inventory points.
Oh, okay.
Can't
I
use
don't need a shield.
because your crossbow is two-handed.
Mm-hmm.
But combat tunic is gonna be.
Oh, and that's it. I don't buy like torches or rations or any of that shit.
No, you're just assumed to have that.
Nice. Oh, how
And
beautiful.
magic defense is insight +1. So we've already got that here. That's going to be 9. That's going to be 11.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. You've got 100 left.
I got 150 left.
150 left. And then all of this stuff up here. Oh, that's right. Crisis. Half of 35 is going to be
17 and a half.
17? Yeah, we roll down, so that's 17. Because certain abilities or stuff can happen, or you gain benefits if you're at half your HP or lower. And so that just tracks what that crisis level is.
Gotcha.
And then obviously a lot of this other stuff up here, even pronouns, we might leave blank for now. But then your name, you figure that out.
Mm-hmm.
Traits, these are the things you can spend Fabula points to invoke. You
Mm-hmm.
start with 1. Well, even then we'd leave that blank, so you fill that in as you go.
Mm-hmm.
But your identity, theme, and origin would all be filled out as you build and fill out the world, as well as your bonds. Do you have a bond to your hometown, or to your job, or to someone you're married to, or a party member, or you know what those things are? You'd fill that out here. And then everything else, you got all your classes and levels. And then, even for Sora, all the Arcana and spells we have, it's just all right here. And I got like 2 full pages of it. Super cool. And you're ready to go. So even...
This is pretty fast.
Even out of the... Oh, yeah. It's amazing. Well, a lot of the time is literally spent on world building. What world do you want to play in? What are places of importance? What are their cultures kind of like? You know, like, I mean, you can get deep, like, what are the trade routes? Or you could just be like, what is the main export? What do they sell? What do they need? What's their main import? What are they surrounded by? Is it forests or mountains? Are they in a cave system, like dwarves? Are they in a desert? You know, like, do they have a matriarchy or a patriarchy or a democracy? What is their government like? Or even just like, is there a big issue? What's the big problem, right?
Yeah.
You're just literally building the world, so it's immediate player investment because you're just.
I feel like it's totally different experiences depending on, whether I've done this part first or whether we do the world building part and then I'm like, okay, for that world, here's the character I want.
Yeah, absolutely, because you could build a world and be like, what I want to experience in that world we just built. I don't want to adventure. I want a pirate.
Yeah.
Or I want to play that like Sora, Spellblade, casting spells, or that's what I want. Or you might want a druid that's learning spells from creatures and things.
Yeah.
Like whatever you do
I
there.
built a treasure hunter, but we built this world in which all of these artifacts are sacred, and I don't want to take them. Maybe I'm going to save the treasure hunter for a different
But that could also be
campaign.
part of the plot as well. Like, these are sacred, and you like find one and take it back to the museum, and then you realize they're destroying them for their magical properties. So then that sets off a plot. So now you do want to go get them because you want to safeguard them and like keep them or keep them safe.
Protect them from the museum as opposed to delivering
things
to
like
the
that.
museum.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, tons of ways to do it, but it is quick, fast, and easy. So a quick overview. I mean, again, this is Fabula Ultima. These character sheets you can find for free. They exist. We're just pulling these straight from the website. Form fillables. This character right off of the bat is fascinating to me. I really like this. Oh, it didn't keep the...
I really like characters where I'm just figuring shit out because I miss escape rooms.
Yeah.
And I just want to play like that kind of detective style character.
Yeah.
And it's fun.
I totally get it. This I don't say interesting because it's bad. I say interesting because this is a way to play in combat that is highly tactical. Where everybody else you kind of like show this to, they just go, so we just attack each turn and that's it. You're sitting there going, actually, let me study everybody here. Then you learn vulnerabilities and say, there you go, everybody. And they go, we just know that? Yeah. You just know that now. So now use your spells, do these things. So this is a great support character that is still no slouch in combat. Your average roll to hit is an 11. Bosses might be a little hard. So bosses you might try to like guard a little more, use your items to help out the party. Definitely study them to learn as much as you can. Because knowledge is going to be power in that instance. But even then, highest roll out of 2d10s, I mean, they're both the same die. So on average, let's even do that as well. Average is going to be 5 because you're always rolling down. 8, 9, 10, 11, about 12, I think, right? 5 times 8? Yeah.
5 times 8 is 40.
No, 5 plus 8, sorry.
Yes, that's
12,
13.
Yeah. 13. Oh, God. My math. Yeah, I mean, that's not bad. An average of 13 damage, an average of 10 to hit, like, that's no slouch. Now, obviously, if somebody comes in and they're like, I want 5 levels in Weapon Master, do all this crazy shit,
right,
or I want 5 levels
harder.
of Fury, yeah, they're going to hit a lot harder. And they're going to do a lot more stuff. Even casters in this game, you might think, like the Sora character we made has a bunch of options, and he does, for like 2 hits. And then he's going to need somebody to use an item on him, or use one on himself. So he's going to be out of MP. Okay. So then he's got to spend a turn recovering to then go at enemies again.
Whereas so far, I don't think I have anything that spends my mind points.
No, you have... let me see here. Because there's one option, but I don't think you've taken it yet. No. The one option is, I mean, focused, you can increase your mind points. But then quick assessment is you spending mind points.
Yeah, but I haven't done that
to learn things, yeah. But you haven't done that yet. And that's also going to be great. Being able to, at the start of a conflict, start of a boss fight, if you invest like, how much more could you invest if that's all you wanted?
Well, I am tapped out on things to invest right
No,
now.
no, I mean as you level up.
Oh.
As you level up, you can only get 10. You can only put 7 more in. You could max out quick assessment and get 1 more thing. And be tapped out on Lore Master. So if you max that out, at the start of a fight, you could spend up to 6 times 5, that's 30. You could spend 30 mind points, and for every 5 you spend that way, so effectively, like, you learn 6 things. A creature you see reveals a trait or a damage type, or an affinity towards that damage type. So are they vulnerable? Are they weak? Are they anything like that? So like, start of a fight, you could just be like, spend 30. I want to learn 5 different things, like 3 from that one creature, 2 from this one, and just let me learn, right? Especially if they're like, oh, there's 2 bats and 3, you know, like fire elemental enemies. You can just be like, perfect. I want to learn.
Studied fire elementals.
Yeah.
Tell me 4 things about a fire
I want to learn
elemental.
things about that.
What about a bat? Yeah.
And the neat thing about this too, which really makes you effective incredibly, is that, and we're going to look at the bestiary because it looks like a prima boss guide. Well, I mean, again, artwork's fucking phenomenal, but like, it looks like one of those old school guides for Final Fantasy or Kingdom Hearts, where it's like there's a little icon for enemies and all that.
This looks like my Pokemon manual.
Like every vampire bat is just gonna have this stuff. Every fire elemental kind of thing is just gonna have these kind of things about them. And the GM can change them a little bit, but like, if I'm your game master and I give you like fire, water, things like elementals, they're probably all gonna be the same. So as you learn things about an enemy, I
know those things about those enemies.
So if
and then if for some reason it seems like it's not working, then I can be like, all right, there's some kind of different skin on this. I'm going to study
it again. Yeah.
Yeah.
So because the game master, if they want to fill out their bestiary, really has to fill it out. This suddenly becomes, you studying stuff becomes an incredible skill. The more the game master just kind of like, I don't want to say phones it in, but creates a limited bestiary, the stronger your study skill gets.
Yeah. Yeah, because
so,
if they're throwing lots of, I don't know,
no slouch.
Fire elementals, for example, like, I've used my power, I know about these fire elementals, I got this.
Yeah, so again, this character, no slouch. And because you want to play that kind of detective, you from the get-go are going to be way more invested in building the story, because what you build is immediately going to have investment for you as mysteries to solve, things to look for.
I'm building out whatever challenges
that's what you
myself.
want.
Yeah,
exactly. It's one of the reasons why I love this, but why I love games that do that, because it's the investing is immediate.
Oh,
it's incredible.
Well, and I was gonna say, and that's unique to my character, but then I was like, well, no, because Sora's character also is invested, because Sora's character wants there to be that high dichotomy of good to evil. Sora's character
good
wants
to evil.
to
They want light and dark to be actual powers in the world. They want their Keyblade to be powerful, but they want to be able to modify it. So they're not looking to like buy extra things. They want to learn like how this works.
They want to have an attachment to it instead of.
They also, their character would have some kind of wanderlust as well, even if they're not built for it. So different worlds or different biomes, however you want it to make it.
Something that you have to like
something
traverse
to travel
from one to the other,
new sites and things like that. But they also want, you know, a lot. They want a good amount of combat. They want the world to be dangerous. So these enemies are literally invading worlds, trying to take them out, and he's got to put a stop to it.
Whereas my character's not as invested in the world being dangerous, but also is like, sure, this is fine.
Yeah, like if the world is dangerous, that's what you got your party for.
Yeah.
But what you really want there is a lot of mysteries, things to solve, things to find. You don't
to go into.
Yeah, you don't just want a cityscape adventure. You want to travel the globe, kind of thing. Yeah, absolutely.
That's really cool.
It's super neat. And so, as a game master, this is really fucking cool. This is the secret sauce that this designer, and I'm gonna screw up his name. I'm so sorry, sir. Emmanuel Galeto. This is the secret sauce that he's giving everybody. Because in the game master section, again, amazing artwork. No one is born a game master right off the bat. Before play, session 0, like all of this stuff. But then it gives you everything you need to know about these classes. So for a lore master, when a lore master player asks you a question, remember, they're supposed to know a little bit about everything. Be generous when handing out information to them, and remember to often involve them in the description of a scene or location. Let them showcase their knowledge by adding details to a place, item, or person. Because
Nice.
that's immediate investment. That's what you want from that class.
Yeah.
If a lore master acquires a quick assessment skill, make sure to reveal useful traits when they use it. Revealing the winged trait on a dragon feels like a cheap move, while traits like coward or loyal are much more interesting and useful.
Yeah.
And then you wanted Wayfinder as well. Given how frequent discoveries can become... Wayfarer.
We're not in Moana.
No. Given how frequent discoveries can become if your group includes a Wayfarer with a treasure hunter or well-traveled skills, which you both got, may be a good idea to prepare a quick list of interesting discoveries that may come useful in a pinch.
Nice.
When short on ideas, turn to the Wayfarer player and ask them to tell you more about the local area, the terrain, the creatures that live there. Then build on their answers during the session. And the Faithful Companion skill is a powerful option that brings a whole new character into the party. Design the creature together with the player, and don't be afraid to adjust its stats along the way if you see that it's too underwhelming or if it outshines the rest of the party. Best companions are there that support the group. So immediately, it just tells you there to be like, your character's playing this thing because they want a certain playstyle, they want a certain thing.
Here's how to make it fun.
Kind of do this. Yeah, they're going to want it fun for them. Like even for me, the Arcanist, it's creating new arcana, you can do that, but arcana should play an important role in the setting. So like cults, or religious empires, or noble lineages, or power of that kind of thing. And like a kind of quest or trial that's required to bind each arcanum that's there. So just super cool stuff. I really like it. This game is really, really good. This game is fantastic. So with that in mind, I got a big old stretch. But this is Fabula Ultima. We started off today making Sora from Kingdom Hearts. He kind of came online at level 15. So after like 20 sessions, you're really playing Sora from Kingdom Hearts as a powerful weapons master that's got access to a bunch of different spells and some healing as well. Good news there. And then we made a character for the beautiful lady that is a Indiana Jones detective professorial kind of character that really wants to travel the world and see a bunch of cool stuff. This was super cool. Thanks for joining me today.
Yeah.
And again, Fabula Ultima won, because it's all out of GameCon, Fabula Ultima won 2 different awards. I think gold for best game and silver for best product. So a lot of people start talking about this. And there's some Ultima plays out there on the internet. I have been thinking about doing one for a while. I don't know if I am. I don't want to make any promises that I can't cash, but there already are actual plays of Fabula Ultima on YouTube. I've seen a couple of them to see like how the game looks in action.
That's
really
fast.
Good. It's clean. What?
That's fast.
Yeah, it's
for
clean.
them to already have those out.
I mean, this game came out I think last year.
Oh, okay. It's just now
it's
kind
been
of
out
getting
for a
the
while,
recognition at this
but
point.
it's just been getting traction.
Gotcha.
But the traction's not stopping, because everywhere I go, people are like, "Have you heard about it? Have you played this? This is great." And so many people are like, I played this, start playing this. This is my new system now. It's just fun as hell. But yeah, I fell in love with the system instantly, almost immediately. I heard what it was about. I was like, "Yep, that's my alley. I'm down it. I've bought the ticket to the ride." But thank you, beautiful lady, for joining me on the stream.
Yeah, thanks for helping me make this character.
We'll save this character sheet in case you do want to play this character one day. Thank you for joining us, everybody. I really do appreciate it. It's weird and strange that I do some of these. I mean, I know I'm a professional game master, but these kind of things are a little weird because it's just staring at PDFs all day. But
that's fine.
Yeah, thanks for joining in.
We're here for your voice.
Yeah, I'd rather do this kind of stuff for like Saturday morning R&Rs and just relaxing kind of streams. So thanks for tuning in. I hope it was valuable. I hope everybody learned how to make a character and generally how the game is played. Because this stuff is really honking cool. But thanks everybody for tuning in. Tomorrow it's right back to being stupid in Final Fantasy 2 and keep on trucking along with that. So we gotta get through that. I'm excited. I like it! But thank you everybody for tuning in. I appreciate it very much. Be kind to yourselves, be kind to others. Have a good weekend if I don't see you tomorrow. And have a good Saturday if I do.
Goodbye.
Goodbye!